So I'm just going to say the date. It's the it's 1:22 p.m. on the 28th of the 4th, 2020. Beautiful day here in Nelson, top of the South Island. Going to cover a few things today. Bit of sorcery. There's a bit of sorcery going on out there. That's what we're going to do. Cover a bit of sorcery. We all like a bit of sauce on our food, don't we? A bit of food for thought. Okay, Brian, thanks for joining us. Welcome aboard, my friend. So sorcery, pharmaca. English pharmacy primarily signified the use of medicine and drugs, spells, then poisoning, sorcery, witchcraft from the King James Version. The use of drugs, whether simple or potent, was generally accompanied by incantations and appeals to occult powers, with the provision of various charms and amulets, etc. Okay, so that's a bit of sorcery. We've got a bit of sorcery going on at the moment. Bit of sorcery going on at the moment. Where were we? Oh, I'm sure I had that one there somewhere. Oh, here we go. That one. So Gnosis, remember Gnosis? We're going to cover a bit of Gnosis because that's all part of the sorcery as well. The intuitive apprehension of spiritual truths, an esoteric form of knowledge sought by the Gnostics. Science, knowledge of the highest kind, specifically mystical knowledge. The deeper wisdom, knowledge of spiritual truth, such as was claimed by the Gnostics. Esoteric knowledge of spiritual truth held by the ancient Gnostics to be essential to salvation. Okay? There's a bit of sorcery going on. And they kind of tell you there. Okay? And pharmaca, the pharmaceuticals. The old pharmaceuticals. I'll show you what pharmaceuticals is. Oh no, I showed you. This is what we're in at the moment. This is kind of what's going on at the moment. People have been taking a bit of that stuff. A bit of Viagra. So this is what's going on. Again, it's sorcery. It's poison. Poisoning your minds, actually. Because that's the state of things, the state of your mind. That's me. Gotta stop expecting normal from me. G'day Jan, how are you? Hope it's all good over there. Covering a bit of sorcery today. We all like a bit of sauce on our food. Unfortunately, we're getting trapped into that one there. So yeah, so we're going to go cover a few more things and get back to the smorgasbord and dispel a few things. Because we've all been cast out here, we're all cast away. Been cast away by the spells. All in the phonics and the vowels and the words, which are wards, they're containers. It's about you, the cup. That's how it works. And so what's happening is we're getting out of this world here. See, that's a bit, change the light there, a bit better. Doesn't make much difference either, does it? Oh, go closer. It's a pretty good day over here in Nelson. G'day Katarina Wildermouth, thanks for joining us. So we're going to, again I'll just go through that again, so we're just going to cover a bit of sorcery. There's a bit of sorcery going on out there, folks. Okay, we've been dispelled, we've been spellbound. We've been spellbound. So we've been cast away, we've been shipwrecked and spellbound by all the spells and that thing there. That's what's going on. And this one here, we're drowning. Because it's law of the sea. It's over here. It's in the world of the dead. Actually, I forgot to put the L there. Commercial. Commerce. Mer of the sea. Admiralty. Banking. Admiralty banking law. I'll show you how that works again, just in case you've forgotten. What do banks do? They control the currents that go to the sea. The flow of the currency. Liquidity. The banks control the liquidity, the currents that flow to the sea. They control the currency. That's what they do with the money. What's the money again? Remember, the money's the one eye. It's the one eye. Mon, meaning one. Eye, one eye. They've been telling you for a long time what's going on, all about the liquidity. And the one eye, it's all about it. Okay? They get you over into this world of the dead, where everything's legal, it's fiction. You're a person, which is a corporation. You're a fictional entity over here. You've got no hearing. You've got no hearing over here. You're silent because someone's trying to represent you. No one can represent you, folks. Only you can present yourselves. And you want to be presentable, don't you? You want to be able to be presented. Because that's a present. In the present, which is now. Unfortunately, this world over here, we're drowning. It's unfathomable. Like I said to you before. It's all this stuff over here, which you need a lawyer to represent you. Now, lawyers were originally called grammarians. And grammarians comes from two words. One is gram, and that's where we get the measure. We get the measure of justice. The scales of justice is to measure. And to mer, in the word grammar, was to confuse, or to obfuscate, to mar things, to make things cloudy. Okay, so they were originally called grammarians. Grammar, and of course we have grammar in our language, in our spellings, in our words, in our phonics, in our sentences and terms. Excuse me. Remember, we want to be questioning. The quest eye on. You're on, there's a contract. Every time there's an ION at the back of a word, it's a contract. It's getting you on board, whatever it is. And it's the quest. You want to be as king on your quest, so you're asking. You get that? See how that works? That's how that works. That's how that works, folks. And you know, this word here, there's a word that incites, isn't it? That one's pretty insightful, that word. Does it incite or does it incite? No, there's a message there, but it's a messy age, because we're in an era, remember? Remember. We need to remember, folks. Okay? So we're being cast aside and having no hearing. There's no hearing over here. There's no volume. There's no volume. The sound is not at its peak. The sound is not at its peak. Okay? Because if you don't mind, it won't matter. I'll show you how we're getting into all sorts of trouble here. The rules and regulations. The rules, the regulations, the acts, the statutes, the legislation. The authority is force, which is fear, intimidation. That's how they roll. That's how that rolls, because it's colour of law. It's the grammarians, folks, there to mar the scales of justice. There's an easy solution to that. And I'll remind you again, I'm not a religious man. I do believe in a creator. But it's whether it's Muhammad or Krishna or whoever, Tom Hanks or whoever your idols are, whoever your God is. It doesn't matter. These rules are really, really simple, folks. They're really simple, and they'll get you back over to here, in the world of the living, because it's full of law. Lawful. You know, it's not fairy tales over here. This is all fairy tales, this stuff. You know, it's colour of law, again. It's the hue of man over here. You know, the authors of the writs, the authors of the rights, folks. Authorities, they are the authorities over there. Remember, authorities, force, it's fear. In the sea, drowning, in commerce, all the liquidity. And they're banking on it, folks. They bank on that. They bank on that. You giving it all up by consent because you don't go and test the con. Remember how we did that? You got to test those cons, folks. Because they're a bunch of cons. They're constructs. And they confuse. And it's conspiracy. Pirates on the sea. They're salvaging your vessels. All the liquidity in your vessels. Because it's all about you, remember? It's all about you. Here's the blood. This is the grail. You are the grail. You're the one that holds the value, the cost and the worth. But that's all up to you. It's all up to you, that one. You know, how you value things, what it's worth to you, and what's it going to cost you. Well, hopefully you're starting to value or starting to measure a few of those things. You know, assure me. You need to be assured about these things. See how that works? So at the moment, you're becoming insolvent. You're being liquidated, folks. And it's all done by a tax. That's how that works. You see? And they even excuse me, they even got to tell you what's going on. This is what I'm saying to you. They've got to tell you in front of your face what's going on. Because then it confers your consent. You see? Do you see how that happens? And you're ending up drowning again. Drowning in the ocean. Hey, that's unfathomable. And everyone says, oh, I don't understand why the government can do that. How can the government get away from that? How's that legal? Why is that? It's because you've given away all those, folks. And you've consented. You haven't tested those cons. That's what's going on. You've got to test those cons. You know? Insight. Insight's external. Insight's internal. If you don't go within, you will go without. If you don't go within, you will go without. And that's just how it is. Okay? So, we've got to get out of this world here and get back over there. Because again, these rules are really simple. That's why ignorance of the law is no excuse. Because this is the law they're talking about. It's common. Excuse me. It's common. So come on. So come on, man. It's common. It's back on the ground. It's back on the land. Together. Together. Back on the land, on the solidity, where we have standing. It's firm. We can affirm things. So that gets us back to the truth. Common's local, folks. Your locality. Solid. Land is solid. It gives us grounding, doesn't it? And we can have a good foundation. And again, we can affirm things, which gets us back to the truth. And that all makes sense, doesn't it? That's how that works. You can see I've cleaned my board up a bit. Who's watching? Everyone's watching. You've got time. See that? How that works? You're watching. Timey. Timey, timey. Who we got there? Edward. Adam, how you doing? Thanks for joining us again today, bro. Glenn Hayes, Glenn Hathaway. Stuart, thanks for joining us. Edmund Hohepper, welcome aboard. Monica, all good. Welcome aboard. So we're getting confused by the English, folks, because it is. It's confusing. It's deliberately confusing. It's to fuse us. And when you fuse things together, you have contact, don't you? Tacking is back on the sea again. Do you see how the words keep drawing us into that unfathomable understandings? We can never understand that. Never. You will never, ever understand that. Because it's colour. It's made up. And you've got to get back on, your vessels. Folks, be the masters. The mast of your ship. With your temples and your crown. At the head of things. See how that is? And get good footing. So you can start drawing your lines in the sand. You can't draw any lines over there. You can't draw lines on water, funnily enough. That's how that works, folks. That's how that works. Actually, I've got a little story here for you. If you can put up with my reading, I'll tell you a little story about what's going on here. It's all about Noah, because he was a bit of a Noah, wasn't he? He knew a few things, that guy Noah. Old Cain and Abel, eh? Old Cain. Cain got disabled, didn't he? That's why the disabled need a cane, folks. See, you become disabled. Without your cane, you need a cane. You need a caning every now and then. Anyway, and the Lord spoke to Noah and said, "In 1 year I'm going to make it rain and cover the whole earth with water until all flesh is destroyed. But I want you to save the righteous people and too of every kind of living thing on the earth. Therefore I am commanding you to build an ark." So I'll just stop there. Ark, folks. What's an ark? It's an ark. It's an arch. An arch is an arc. There's power in chords that arc. Frequencies of wave, they hurts. It hurts. The ark, because it's a covenant. It's the ark of the covenant, isn't it? Or is that an arch? Is that an archery? As an arrow and bow? Again, we're back on the ship. Do you see how that works? An ark is a ship, a vessel. It's a covenant. It's a contract. Ask any woman about contractions, people, and they'll tell you that they are painful. Because something's being birthed there, folks. So let's get back to Noah, because he was a bit of a Noah. So in a flash of lightning, God delivered the specifications for the ark. In fear and trembling, Noah took the plans and agreed to build the ark. "Remember," said the Lord, "you must complete the ark and bring everything aboard within 1 year." Well, exactly 1 year later, fierce storm clouds covered the earth, and all the seas of the earth went into tumult. The Lord saw Noah was sitting in his front yard, weeping. "Noah," he said, "where is the ark?" "Lord, please forgive me," Noah cried. "I did my best, but there were big problems. First I had to get a permit for construction, and your plans did not meet the building codes. I had to hire an engineering firm to redraw the plans. Then I got into a fight with the fire department in Osh over whether or not the ark needed a sprinkler system and approved floating devices. Then my neighbour objected, claiming it was violating council ordinances by building the ark in my front yard, so I had to get a resource consent from the local planning commission. Then I had problems getting enough wood for the ark, because there was a ban on cutting trees to protect the spotted owl. But I finally convinced the New Zealand Forest Service that I really needed the wood to save the owls. However, the Fish and Game Department won't let me catch any owls, so no owls, sorry. Then the carpenters formed a union and went on strike. I had to negotiate a settlement with the National Labour Department before anyone would pick up a saw or a hammer. Now I have 16 carpenters on the ark, but still no owls. When I started rounding up the other animals, an animal rights group sued me. They objected to me taking out only 2 of each kind aboard, mumbling something about John Keys and fairness. Anyway, just when I finally got the suit dismissed, the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, notified me that I could not complete the ark without filing an environmental impact statement of your proposed flood. They didn't take very kindly to the idea that they had no jurisdiction over the conduct of the creator of the universe. Then the Army Corps engineers demanded a map of the proposed new floodplain, so I went and gave them the globe. Right now I'm trying to resolve a complaint filed by the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission that I am practising discrimination and not taking godless, unbelieving people aboard. The IRD has seized my assets, claiming that I'm building the ark in preparation to flee the country and not pay taxes. And then I got a notice from the revenue agent saying that I owe them some kind of user tax because I failed to register the ark as a recreational watercraft. And finally, a large religious group got to the courts to issue an injunction because further construction of the ark, saying that since God is flooding the earth, it's a religious event and therefore unconstitutional. I really don't think I can finish the ark for at least another 5 years. Noah then waited for a response from the Lord. The sky began to clear, the sun began to shine, and the seas began to calm. A rainbow arced across the sky. Noah looked up hopefully. "You mean you're not going to destroy the earth, Lord?" "No," he said sadly. "I don't have to. Government already has." And that's how that rolls, folks. That's pretty much how that rolls. Regulated. Regulated to death, folks. That's what's going on. Regulated to death over here. Now, we all like to chant. Now, Gnosis is all about chanting, isn't it? And chant after me. Government is not my friend. They've got us drowning, folks. They've got us drowning. They've got us drowning in seas of spells and language and ciphers and letters. To let. What does to let mean, folks? Oh, it means to cause pain. Cause pain. See, they've got us all tied up in these spells, and we're all using this code. This is code. And they tell you it's code, folks, don't they? They tell you it's code. You've got the drinking code, your driving code, this code, that code. It's all codified, folks. They've got you codified. Like cod, back in the sea again. Fish. They like to sell fish. Hey, they like to sell fish. Folks, you see how that's working? It's working well, actually. Because remember, a well is a hole in the ground full of water. It's another vessel. It's another container of water. Just what they've turned you into as a commodity. At your birth, they certified you with a certificate of manifestation. Because something arrived. A vessel arrived. At the port. At the dock where the doctor was. In the ward. Come down the canal. Broke the waters. Do you see how that works, folks? It's all about money. Mercy. Mer of the sea. Mercy. Dollar. Dolan is a Latin word. It means pain. That's why they get you to be ill, folks. They get you to be ill. They give you a note, don't they, your dollar? They give you a note. They let you know what's going on. It's tender. They call it, oh, it's tender. Just to make it sound nice, they call it tender. That currents of the sea. That currents of the sea that is measured in waves, in fathoms, and it hurts, folks. It's pain. When you touch the arc of power, it's painful. Hey, that might make you sit, pause, think. Hey, that's what happens. Because it's all about you. You're the gold. The cost, the value, and the worth. You're the gold, you. What is gold, folks? What's gold? Here you go. Here's another one. I just got taught. Is that a taught? Is that a civil taught I just got? What's gold, folks? Here's one. You like this? It's an ore, isn't it? So O-R-E. Oh, we'll just do the sea one, shall we? Because we're back in the sea. See, the oar drives your boat, and then you bow to the archery. Because it's transport. It's all about the ports that you dock your vessels in, folks. And unfortunately, you're being documented over there. Document, folks. It means to dock your mind. And then you've got to go to a certain department. So they depart your mind again. That is what they do. They've got to tell you what they're doing. Because it confers your consent every time. Because you're not testing the cons, folks. The great conspiracy of your vessel. They're destructioning you. It's destruction. Oh, there's a C missing there. See, the C's missing. It's destruct, construct, confuse, the cons table, the constable. That's what they use. They use the cons on the table, folks. Hey, it's not a very stable table. It's a very unstable table. You've got no grounding there, folks. You're not going to have... You're going to end up dead. And what do? Dead is death, is a die, isn't it? Again, a die, and they cast you. You cast in a die, don't you, folks? And then you coffin. I bet you coffin. I bet you're getting a bit pissed off. Because this might incite you. You know, that does. This is Gnostics. This is Gnosis, folks. Remember Gnosis? Intent, visualize, and emotion is to give. Remember that? Gnosis. This is the Gnosis, folks. The spellings right in front of your faces. You've got to dispel them. It's like this is subliminal. This activates and works on a lower threshold, below your threshold. It's subliminal. It's below. Submarine. The preposition sub means below. So it's below your threshold to comprehend. But not now. Not now, because I'm raising you. I'm raising you, I'm putting less on. I'm putting less on you to raise you up on the ladder of knowledge, onto the knoll, on the edge of things where you can see farther, on the rung. Do you see? And it's to each, isn't it? It's to each and their own of their ownership. Not the copyright one. Not the copyright ownership, folks, where you go and apply and end up being a beggar again. You end up being a beggar in the hue of man, in that caricature, the persona. Have you got your purse on you? That's the persona. That's the persona, folks, the cost of value and the worth of I, me, my. Do you see how that works? Are you being assured? Is it assuring me? Is that your measure? A yardstick? You need a yardstick. Because it's deep, folks. It's deep. It's fathoms deep. Because it's measured in volume. Volume we need to hear, don't we? Oh, that rings true, Norm. Hey, that sound rings true. See, this is the smorgasbord of information, along with this one, and you can take from it of what you please or what fits your appetite. If you like fish today, then take fish. If you want to sell something, hey, what's the salt and battery? A little bit of salt. We like a bit of salt on our sauce, condiments on our food for thought. Sauce. What's the sauce? Hey, sorcery. Remember right at the start I showed you what sorcery was? I can remind that because there's a few more people just come on. I'll just remind you again what sorcery's about, folks. It's sorcery pharmaca. You see that? It's from the dictionary. You can go and check it out. Poisoning, folks. Spells. Sorcery. Incantations. Occult power. Occult just means hidden. Powers. Charms. Amulets. You see? Use of drugs. Sorcery. So there's lots of sorcery going on because they're telling you. They've got to tell you it's casting spells. You'll use spelling. And it's all phonics because it's phony. It's the Phoenicians. The seafaring race. We like a good sail, don't we? We like a good sail because then we've got plenty of wind. And when we've got wind, we've got voice. And then we're invoice, aren't we? And then we don't have to be ill. We can start invoicing others. We can start contracting others. Start giving them, folks, our T's and C's, eh? Let's start giving them our T's and C's and drawing our lines on the land together. Because then we're on solid ground again, aren't we? Truth's at the heart of things, folks. It's at the heart of things, isn't it? Hey? The heart of things. Love, it's light, organically vibrating energy. It's pretty simple stuff. See, an acronyms, beautiful. Light, organically vibrating energy, folks. But unfortunately, they'll get us to write that like that. And that's cursive, isn't it? They call that cursive writing. Oh, of course it is. Because it spells being cast into the die of death. Sounds pretty morbid, doesn't it? Bit of morbidity. Mort gauge. What about the gauge? What about the gauge of your mort, folks? You know what gauge is in Latin? Gauge in Latin means to pledge. Mort is death, folks, or mortality. It's a pledge of your death. Again, they've got to tell you what they're doing. Because once we tell you, then... Where is it? Oh, I've lost it. Oh, yeah, then you're told, aren't you? Then you've been told that that's a pledge of death. It's a pledge of death, folks. They're draining your liquidity. And it is a form of attacks. Attacks. They even tell you the name of your tax department, folks. Look very carefully what they tell you. Inland Revenue. Inland revenue. They tell you, again, exactly what they're doing. Exactly what they're doing, folks. They are in the revenue of your land. They're siphoning off your 60 to 80% of our body fluid water, our liquidity. They're draining us dry, folks. But it's all by consent. It's all by consent. It is, folks. That's what it is. They've got to tell you what they're doing. Okay? They've got to. And they are. Again, the authorities, the authors of the rights. So you've got to be the authors of your right. You've got to be the author of your right. I thought I had that there. Okay? You want to be the author. Did I? I must say over here. Sorry. You want to be the author. Okay? I'm sure I had that there somewhere. The author. Thor, is that Thor? Is that another one of these gods, is it? We're back into these gods again. Remember, I'm telling you, there's all sorts of gods in here, because this stuff is spellings. You know, this stuff is speaking in tongues, folks. You all think you're not religious. You're all religious. You're all using this stuff. You've all been rebound, because that's what religion means, to rebind you, to take you away from that and rebind you over there. That's what they've done. And you're bound. You're bound, folks. You're the bounty, in fact. Oh, yeah, I have got authority there. So, the author, you want to be the author of your rights, folks. You want to be the author of your rights, because then you have your right. Then you've clearly stated your T's and C's, folks. And this, we all sign these, don't we, when we submit to our websites. We go to our Discord groups where we're all in Discord with each other. And when we're in Discord, we sit round and this is what we do. We diss and we cuss, don't we? We all diss and cuss. Dissing and cussing. That's swearing again, folks. You all think you're nice. Well, you are nice, because I showed you the other day the definition of nice is stupid, foolish, ignorant. That's what nice means. So when the government says, oh, you look nice, they're telling you exactly what they think. Exactly what they think. Folks, sit poor. They call you poor too. They want you to be poor to get you in a pause. Because you've got to pause. I have that. Pause, vowels, liquidity, pause, liquid pause, doesn't it, folks? When it rains, it pours. Raining, who's raining at the moment, folks? Who's raining at the moment? Hey? It's the monarchy. The one ark. The monarchy, isn't it? That's what's ruling at the moment. Raining. Again, they're watering down on you. They're telling you what they're doing to you, folks. And you're drowning. You're drowning in it. See, when a ship is on the water and when there's no wind, there's no peak. I did that, didn't I? Oh, yeah, down here. See, when there's no wind out on the seas, then you're in a lull. And you're in a lullaby. They call that dead in the water, don't they? They call that being dead in the water. So, I'm sorry, I was just reading one of the comments here. There's a couple of people commenting. Sorry, I'll oops, I'll turn that round. Sorry about that. All right, back there. Where are we? Yeah, no. There. No. Oh yeah, there we go. Sorry, I'm good at de-spelling. I'm good at spelling, folks, but I'm not so literate with technology. So you have to bear with me. I use what I got. Do what I can with what you got. That's how we roll. It says, unfathomable, grammarians, manai, one eye. Yes, quest eye on. Go, indecite message. Cast aside, no hearing, speak sound, not at its peak, Butterworth, dead, fairy tales, authority. Yes, the authors of our rights. Lies, living, lawful, test. Yes, there's lots of lies going on. Lots of lies. Monica says, what is the meaning of kindness? This is a lot in politics. Yes, of course it is. Here we go. They're talking about the mankind, to kindle. They're trying to kindle something within you, because they know that kin is family. They're trying to be familiar. They're trying to familiarize you, your eyes, hey? And rise you into their world of the dead. So they use a lot of words. They use words that we have, because words have power. Words have power, folks. You know, when someone uses words to you, they can affect you in very different ways. Like I said, they can incite you or they can incite you. That's how it is. So words are conveyors of power, of information, But watch out you don't get caught with those words. Because when you're caught there, you know, they give you a ticket, you think it's fine, and they charge you. Just like a battery cell. You've been sold, folks. You've been sold out. So that's where kindle is, kind, to kindle. It's the warmth, it's the heart, again, the heart of the matter. And kin in Japanese is gold. Kin in Japanese is gold. That's the periodic table symbols for gold there. AU. AU, you're the gold. They've got to tell you exactly what's going on, folks. And they're telling you. It's a messy age. It's a messy age in this era. You see that, how that works? Casting spells, folks. And it's all simply mind control. Mind control and self-hypnotism. It's mind control and self-hypnotism, folks. You can, you know, if you don't matter, if it doesn't matter, you won't mind. And if you don't mind, it won't matter, will it? What's to be mind? Oh, well, to mind is like to dig. To dig, and then you know, and that costs you. It costs you, and you earn. Don't you? You earn something. There's a lesson there, and you earn it. You see that? Because you've mind, and it's mattered. And then you have a bit of, you're the knoll on the edge, you're a higher rung on the ladder. That's how that works, in the now. And then you can learn to say no. That gives you the ability to respond. Do you see how that works? So this is the smorgasbord. Smorgasbord of truth, of spelling, of despelling. And this is what I like to do. I like to put my words on a plate, a template, and then I can despell them, because they're all of these little individual letters or characters or personas, all these little individual symbols, all these little individual ciphers in the code have got you in the lull. Have got you in the lull, folks. You're dead in the water. Okay, you've got no wind because you don't know how to speak at your peak. The sound at your peak is to speak, folks. So you earn. Earn is another thing that they put dead ashes in too, isn't it, folks? So once you've learnt it, does that mean you're told? Oh, yeah. Are you too old? So it's passed on. It's past tense, isn't it? See how you've been passed on? You've been passed on from that world back over into that world. To the land of the dead, folks. But again, it's all by your consent. Sorry, let's just have a drink. It's all by your consent. Because you give up those. They're inalienable rights. They're inalienable. They're inherent. They're within you. But they are unalienable. Meaning you can give them away. Because it's a UN. See how that works? Your terms and conditions. All with your terms and conditions, when you submit and you go into your Discord groups and you push the button and you submit to the T's and C's. T's and C's is tracking and controls. Tracking and controls, folks. That's what it is. That's what it is. So we need to get back into the field, which is on the ground again. It's grounded. Then we can feel in the field of energy, because that's what it all is, remember? Remember how I showed you? Again, I'll show you again. Some of them quite don't get it, but that's how it is. It speaks in frequency. And our frequencies are out of harmony, folks. They're out of harmony because they're not in one song. See, this is so true, and especially in these times now, when they're in the middle of the massive COVID corona hoax being revealed. The veils are raising on this big coronavirus hoax bullshit, folks. Not much worse than a common cold. Maybe a little bit worse, but not much worse. Anyway, the cells of your body react to everything that your mind says. Negativity brings down your immune system, folks. So when they've got us in states of fear, isolated, social distancing, they are just doing what they do. They're just doing what they do to you, folks. They separate you, departmentalize you. That's what they do. They tell you what they're doing to you. They have to. Again, it's authority, the permission, right, and exercise powers to implement and force laws, to exact obedience, to command, the lawful delegation of a power by one person to another. This is exercised by governments. So let's look up the word government. I think I've done that with you before. It means mind control. Okay, this is Merriam-Webster's. Okay, another thing too, folks, you've got to realise that there's two languages, okay? Again, the two languages. This language here is legalese. Looks like English, sounds like English, but it's not English, okay? And this is the double speak and the deception. This is the discord and the legalese and the deceit and the lies, the ability to lie. It's liability over here, folks. Again, it's the ciphers, which are signs, which are characteristics and personas. Letters, they let you. They cause you pain. Only if you don't know how to use these things. Then it's abuse, isn't it? A-B in the front of a word as a preposition means no or not. Like norm is normal and abnorm is not normal. So abuse. Abuse is what's going on, folks. You're not using your brains. You're not using your eyes. You're not using your senses, folks. Your sense. Because truth makes sense. It rings true. It sounds good. It's in voice. It's at the heart of things. It'll kindle. It'll kindle and it will incite. Okay, that's what it does. Sometimes it might get over there, you know. That will often lead to that. If you can get over that, the war, the ranting about war, folks, they call it a war rant, don't they? A warrant. Oh, they hide it in the phonetics, but it's in the word, it's telling you exactly what they're doing. It's a war rant. Let's see, because we have to see things, folks. It's a war rant, isn't it? And they summons you. What do they summons, folks? They summons the dead. It is the zombie apocalypse, folks. This is the world of the living dead. You are in the world of the dead. You need to get back to the world of the living. This is what is happening now, though. Your consciousness is waking. You're awakening up to these things, whether you like it or not. Because there's a vibration. Remember? Remember the vibration? Vibration, folks. It's all about the vibes. You'd think I'd have this book sorted out by now, wouldn't you? I haven't. It's all about the vibration, folks. Remember, it's all about the waves, the frequency, the vibration. And when our frequency, pitch and volume, all these things, you know, all to do with the waves of the sea again, because it's energy. When one of the astronauts looked back at Earth, he said, the Earth is but a vessel in the sea of space. They know what they're doing, folks. They're very, very clever. Cleaver. What is cleaver? Cleaver is to pry apart, isn't it? It's to pry apart, folks. That is the cleaver. And that's what's going on. You know, because we go in and we get from here by applying, don't we? The legal definition of the word apply is to beg. Okay? You're begging. The word application in the legal sense means to beg. So when you apply for anything, you are actually begging, and this infers two things. One, you don't have the right to do that thing, and two, you need others' consent for it. They even call you the applicant. They're telling you, don't apply. You can't apply, because it's already a right. You've already got the right, folks, if you're the author. And the laws over here, which there's no excuse for any ignorance of, are really easy, aren't they? Those laws, really, really simple laws, folks. I can stand on those ones, no problem. Hand under them. Again, doesn't matter what God you believe in, but the precepts and the rules and the guides are all there. Man, you're not going to find any love in that. In fact, because you're over here, you're caught. And it's a game of tennis, isn't it? On a court, and they fire the ball to the plaintiff and the respondent, and the plaintiff and the respondent, backwards and forwards it goes. But there's no love in this game, folks. And it's played with a racket. It's definitely a racket. There's a racket going on here. That's the game that's being played here. Because the judge, he's sitting up there on a thing called a bench. A bench is a Latin word, folks. And it means bench. That means banks. He represents the banks. Okay? He doesn't care who wins the game when you've been caught. He doesn't care who wins. Because someone's going to pay. Payment. Pay through the mind. And then, you know, you're in the inkwell. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to do. I was going to bring you back to how, you see, you're getting all into this with this, aren't we? What's this, Norm? Oh, it's a pen. It's my pen. That's my pen. I bought it. I paid for it. I paid for that. I mined it. I mined that, and it mattered. You see how that works? Over here, you're also penned. You're in a pen. A pen is what gets you over here. I wonder how long I've been going, actually. I've got to stay under 1 hour. Can anyone tell me what time I started? I can't remember. Anyway, I've got to keep under an hour so I can load these up onto my Instagram. I just started up a new Instagram account. I'm still trying to figure out how it works. But anyway, we'll get there. So yeah, so we're getting over here with a pen. And the pen, and over here, folks, I just must have rubbed that out. Over here, you've only got 9/10 of the law. You've only got 9/10 of the law over here, folks, in the world of the dead. Because there's a deed. Hey, there's a deed there, folks. What are deeds, folks? Contracts for land, aren't they? Aren't they? Deeds, contracts for land. Again, they've got to tell you what they're doing. You've got to learn to change the phonics round and to start seeing the different levels of code and information being conveyed. There's a con there, it's being conveyed. There's transport, okay, from port to port, from vessel to vessel. There's cargo, carriage of goods. And you're getting into trouble because of that. Because of the pen. Because it's getting you back in the jail, folks. It's a cell. And you sell yourself. And it's assault and battery. Of yourself. By consent. Because you don't test it. And you're back in the currents of the sea, you little vessel. Your little vessel's lost at sea, and it's open for salvage in those currents of the sea, folks. You know, it's funny how frequency gives us comfort, doesn't it? Comfort. Oh, is it a community fort? We're all in the same boat. Hey, we're all in the same ark. The same boat, the same vessel that's lost at sea, being salvaged, folks. You need to say no. What stops vessels at sea, folks? What stops vessels at sea? Objections. You want to own them. Objects, don't they? Objects stop vessels at sea. They shipwreck them. And you're being shipwrecked, folks. And when another term they use, sirens. What are the sirens? Oh, they're when the captains of their ships are sailing out at sea. They're masters of their vessel, but they get distracted by the sirens. And the sirens cause the captains to get shipwrecked. There might be mutiny on board. Maybe there's someone who's not on board, who's above board. Are you guys getting bored? Me smorgasbord. So this is what's going on. This is what's going on. They're rape, pillaging and plundering. It's law of the sea, folks. Captain piracy. Cons, the old cons, the criminals, piracy. That's what's going on. But once, again, this is subliminal. It's all a lower level. Once you start to see this, once you start to comprehend and start to learn to decipher, instead of being in the dead water, in the lullaby, you can decode. Start to decode and despell. And again, it will give you higher insight. It will give you higher insight, okay? Higher on the rung of the ladder. Because you've earned it. You've learned it. It's to teach. And then you'll have intuition. Another one of your amazing senses. Hey, another one of your amazing senses is intuition. It's at the heart of things. Information. Information gives you power. We know this. So we need to get more informed, meaning we need to get more empowered ourselves. And if you're not learning each day, folks, you're wasting your time. I mean, if you're not learning, you're not growing. And life will do that to you anyway. The mers of the sea. Yeah. So I think I might leave it there. I'm not sure how long I've been going for, but I don't want to go over an hour, so I can post this on my Instagram page. So that's it, folks. Caveat emptor. Buyer beware. You buy lemons thinking they're apples, you're going to get left with a sour taste in your mouth. And you know what they say, let those that be deceived be deceived. The deception is real, folks. Deception is real and it's thick. It's real and it's thick out there. So there we go. We covered a bit of sorcery. There's a bit of food for your thought. A bit of condiments. Some condiments on your food. So that one's sorcery. Yeah, can't expect normal from me, folks. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I'm not too sure how long I've been going, actually, so I'm just going to have to sign yous off there. That's what we're doing, sowing seeds. Brothers and sisters in the land. Get back on the land, get captains of your ships, become the master of your vessels. Start informing yourselves. Get informed, get knowledgeable, because then you're in common unity, and then you're in community, and that is just a beautiful thing, folks. It's all about the energy, the vibe. Your tribe is your vibe. Where thought goes, energy flows. If you don't go within, you will go without. Foundational laws to live by. Very, very simple, very, very easy. Easy for you, because remember, you are light, organically vibrating energy, folks. That's what it is. That's what it is. So we need to get out of the world of the dead, back out of all that unfathomable stuff we're drowning in, and get back over into the land of the living. And it's pretty simple stuff. It's all about yours. It's all about your truths, your rights. Your right and your right. Become the authors of your rights, folks. Become the authors of your rights. And don't go falling for any of that sort of stuff, eh? There's plenty of that going on. Alright, folks, thanks for joining us. Oh yeah, I'll just plug me pages again. A bit of plug me. I keep forgetting to plug me pages. I'm not really into plugging me pages. So that's what we did today. Went through a little bit more gnosis as well. Esoteric knowledge of spiritual truth held by the ancient Gnostics to be essential for salvation. We've got to get out of that hue of man and get back to man. Where are we here? Well, I'll try and leave you with something there. So yeah, there's me, oh yeah, not the norm, me page. Well, here's me video, here's me YouTube channel, folks. You can go over there and just throw some likes on me thing. I think that helps with the algorithms or something. Algorithms, the algos. That's my oh, there's me ugly mug too. If you want to see me ugly mug, I don't think it's not about me, folks. I'm not really interested in. It's all about you. Remember the little vessels. So it's not, it's Norm NTN if you want to hook up with me on Instagram. There's also some stuff going on in Nelson too. So if anyone wants to PM me, who's in the Nelson area, I'll give you my phone number and we'll have a bit of a powwow. Hey, a power share. Okay, guys, love and light. Remember, light, organically vibrating energy. Woohoo! That's you. We're unstoppable. Love and light. See you later.